Hi everyone, so back with part 2 of week 24, and this is still our Canadian holiday. We've sort of moved on now to the Canadian Rockies. So we flew to Calgary from Vancouver on the Thursday and spent the rest of the weekend sort of thing in Banff and did loads of stuff around there. So this is what this part is mainly about. So I'm still using the Photoplay O Canada, the second collection, for this one, and I just love it. I just love a theme, and I just think it looks great with all the Canadian sort of aspects to it. So I'm using the Design Design F, sorry, which is the one 6x4 and then the rest 3x4s. I had that one 6x4 cut apart left, which was perfect to put at the top there, and then I filled out my 3x4s with photos and cut parts. So as I said in the previous layout, I have used all my cut parts apart from one, but I've saved that for the next week because I know what collection I'm going to use for the next week, and I think it will go quite nicely with it. So if I'm going to save one, that was the best one, so I'm going to use that one at the end. You'll see me just double checking that I've saved the right one at the end, but I'm really happy with how it came out. So I'm just cutting down my photos. So the first photo is going to go in between the 6x4 and that O Canada card is a picture of the Banff sign. We do actually have a picture of both of us in front of it, but it was landscape, so I wanted to put a portrait one. And I love that Banff sign. I just think it's great, with the trees in the background, and obviously you can see the mountains from a different angle as well. So it was just amazing, and obviously that sort of signifies that we are in Banff. Then there's just some random pictures around obviously what we got up to in Banff, like the Avenue, Johnston's Canyon, Lake Louise and Lake Moraine. So just the key sort of aspects of what we did absolutely loads, and I've just printed off my photos, and I've got 504 photos from our 2 weeks in Canada. So this really is just a snippet of what we got up to, and I'm really looking forward to getting that album on the road. But as I said, I've got quite a few in the pipeline first, so I'm still looking forward to get my other ones done first. So I'm just cutting down some bits and pieces. So I'm using this brown paper. All this paper, like the brown, I use black as well sometimes. They're all leftovers from previous albums that I've obviously ripped out because I don't need them in that album. So obviously I don't chuck that paper, I'll use it. Even white paper I'll use. So I like to keep everything, and it does come in handy for things like this. I don't have much red or brown paper really, so like pattern paper from books and stuff. So it does come in handy to have this sort of just plain paper for the background or card. So on that Banff photo, I've just put a little woolly hat because it was obviously a bit colder up in the Rockies, and I'm just using some washi tape. I do use my black pen to outline a lot of the photos, very, very roughly, not perfect at all, but I like that effect, like a rough sort of outline. And I just love that kind of O Canada card. It's got a load of like typical sort of Canadian things on there that we saw, did and tried and all that, so I thought that was quite nice. Then the cut part that's going to go underneath the 6x4, there's one with these arrows, and it's just got some bears. It's got a bear, a beaver, some maple syrup and a leaf on there. And then next to that is a picture of Joe on Banff Avenue, which he really, really liked. He loved Banff Avenue. And it's just so pretty because obviously you're walking down this lovely street and it's got these mountains in the background, all these flowers and trees all around. And obviously the buildings are very picturesque anyway because they're like nice wooden ones that just look fitting to be in the mountains. So I'm going to use a little maple syrup sticker on there, and the one that says Alberta. I might come back and put the Alberta sticker on there. Just because obviously we had lots of like pancakes and we had random bits and pieces in Banff, like we sat down and had lots of food and things, so the maple syrup seemed fitting. Then I'm going to use this Rockstar cut apart, which is a bit odd really because obviously it's more of the sport, but we did go to Johnston Canyon, and that is obviously lots of rock. So that was my argument basically. Not that I need an argument to use these things. They're all Canadian themed. It was just that was why I put that one next to that, because obviously we went to this canyon, which was amazing. So we walked to the upper canyons, upper waterfalls. So that was fun. I just absolutely love walking through canyons and stuff because I think it's so cool to walk around all these little like winding, like not streets but little walkways and stuff like that. I just think it's great. So I'm just going to put that there. I do write on the bottom, Johnston Canyon eventually. I'm going to use some washi tape, and I'm going to use one of those speech bubbles that says eh. I don't really understand what that means. I think it's a Canadian thing. I saw it on some magnets and some postcards and stuff whilst out there, but I never actually got to ask anyone. So if anyone knows what that means, do let me know. I think I've Googled it, and I think it's just a colloquialism that they use there. So yeah, I wanted to put that one there. Then the ones that are going to go down the bottom, the first photo is a picture of us canoeing on Lake Louise, which was probably one of my highlights of the entire trip. I absolutely loved Lake Louise, and I loved canoeing. Again, it was a last minute decision. We didn't plan on it because we thought it was quite expensive, and we didn't think we'd have time to wait in the line that we thought was going to be really, really long. But we got back down from our walk, and the queue was really short, and I just thought, right, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And we paid it, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. We don't canoe at all, so we were very inexperienced, but we had a good time. And we got some really good photos as well. So I'm just going to put that little round sticker that says True North and a little compass, just because we did struggle a little bit with our directions. Joe's obviously a stronger paddler than I am, so we were going around in circles a lot because obviously I was trying to go one way, he was going the other. So it was good fun. So that was at Lake Louise. I'm going to put the little beaver in his hockey gear next to that, purely because it's like a sport, and obviously canoeing is a sport. So that was why I used that one there, and I thought it was quite cute anyway, the little beaver. And then the photo that's going to go next to that is a picture of us, picture of me, at Lake Moraine. Lake Moraine was absolutely stunning. It was the bluest blue I've ever seen. Lake Louise was more like not turquoise, like a milky emerald green, whereas Lake Moraine was like a sapphire blue. Like, it was so bright. I've never seen water like it, but it was utterly amazing. So we got some really, really good photos of us there at Lake Moraine. We picked a really good time of day, and also the weather. It didn't rain, which was good. It went over a little bit cloudy, but when the sun came out, it was amazing. So I'm just going to use this little snowflake sticker at the top because it was really cold there. I think because we were deeper into the mountains, it just seemed really cold. At Lake Louise, like, it was quite warm on the lake and stuff, but the minute we got to Lake Moraine, we were freezing. So that's why I used a little snowflake sticker. And then the last cut apart is just this little moose on his skis, and I used that one because it was cold. It was freezing, and as we got later into the trip, the colder it got. And you'll see, especially in my album, we went through all different weathers. We did actually get snow in the end, so yeah, just a bit of everything really, but really enjoyed using this collection. I loved using just a themed collection, to be honest, just a Canadian theme. I've got a few others from Photoplay, like an island one and Hawaii and places like that. So it's just so much fun to use things that are directly linked to what you've done. And I definitely didn't struggle to know which one to use for this week. So yeah, and I know which one I'm using for next week as well because it's the perfect colours. So I've really enjoyed using these bits and pieces, and I've enjoyed documenting my first week of Canada. Crazy that I've spent 10 months planning this trip, and then now it's all over and done with, but at least I've got the scrapbook to look forward to. And we've got obviously holidays to look forward to as well, but you know, you've spent so much time dedicated to planning for it to all be over in 2 weeks, and it's a distant memory. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this one. This was me just deciding if I used the right card, but I have definitely left the right one. But I will be back with week 25 shortly. Thank you very much. Bye.